believe it's Tuesday, something like that, right, in April. My name is Amber, for anyone that's not familiar with me, or if maybe this is your first class with me. And yeah, welcome to my living room and some yoga. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna primarily focus, although I don't really like to use the word focus, but we're gonna involve a lot of squats and chair pose. So just, I guess, the idea of powering through the lower body and just kind of noticing what we feel when we're in those postures. But yeah, so that'll be a gist of kind of what we do in class today, of course filled with a bunch of other stuff too. So let's get started. Find your way onto your back or into any really comfortable position, as the first part of class will just be about noticing and really just acknowledging all that's entailed before coming to this space right here, this kind of moment, this time. And so my preferred position is always with my back nice and flat, and then with my knees bent and my feet flat. But for you, it might feel more comfortable to have your legs out long. It might feel good to roll over onto your belly. Or maybe you'd like to start with a more traditional seated meditation position, and you're more than welcome to do so. And then once you kind of find that position and you've decided on what feels good, I want you just to allow yourself to make any last little adjustments, whether it's the shoulder blades a little closer together, a little wiggling around. Maybe it's the shoulder blades spaced apart a little bit more and the arms are relaxed out by the side. You might relax and wiggle or move around your toes a little bit here before finding some stillness. And deciding if you'd like to close your eyes. Option, of course, you can always keep them open. And just start to notice any noises you may be hearing, maybe within the space you're in, maybe outside of it. Maybe the noises that are coming from within the body. And then also begin to notice any breeze you might feel, any scent that might be present. If your eyes are open, what is it that you are focusing on? What can you see? If your eyes are closed, just envisioning the back of the lids here. And then acknowledging any areas of the body that are in contact with the floor, with your mat. And just noticing how you feel. Feeling a little light, a little heavy. Feeling a little hot or a little cold. And then start to notice the breath, not really trying to change anything, but just that idea of bringing awareness to our inhales naturally. And then once again with our exhales, just naturally noticing how the breath feels. Acknowledge what parts of the body move as you breathe. Acknowledge any sensations, any tension, tingling, just any feeling you may get throughout your body here as you continue each inhale and each exhale. As you continue to establish this relationship with your breath, this breath that is here presently, not how you were breathing before or how you wish to be breathing, but exactly how you are breathing here in this moment. Just acknowledging, like I said, creating this relationship. And then you can start to transition into more of a 3-part breath here if that feels good. Really noticing as you inhale the rise of the belly. Keeping the focus on the belly for just a few moments, each inhale and each exhale, just beginning to notice any and all the things that occur and happen throughout this area of the body, this area of the low belly, down in towards the hips, even the bottom of the ribs a little bit. And just notice how it feels to breathe and move the area of the belly. Sometimes it helps if you place the hands there, but no, it's just an option. From there, focusing on the ribs a little more, maybe even the space in between the ribs, a great place to place your hands, palms onto the ribs here. And then as you breathe in and out, as you were before, allow yourself to notice the movement occurring into this midsection of our upper body. Not only do you notice the belly as it begins to rise and fall, but also this area of the ribs and this area in between the ribs. The belly rises first with each inhale, followed by the area of the ribs. And then with each exhale, the ribs begin to descend and move in, and then the belly begins to follow them. Completing this 3-part breath, allowing yourself to continue the breath into the belly and into the midsection, but then also noticing the chest and even into the shoulders, just a slight bit. Inhale through your nose and just allow the belly, the ribs, and the chest to move. And then as you exhale in the same direction they came up, allow them to fall right back down. And just doing this a few more times, allowing those few deep inhales, noticing each part of the body, what you feel, what you notice, what feels stuck, what flows, any colors or images that may come to mind. And then as you continue with this breath, we're going to start to incorporate a little bit of movement. So if you'd like to open your eyes at this point, you're always welcome. If you'd like to keep them closed, that's also great. And for you that don't have your knees bent and your feet flat, go ahead and make that adjustment and maybe even take your feet out a little wider, letting your knees roll out towards the right and left here. And allow yourself to really notice the low back. And then I want you to, from there, to allow your knees to draw down over towards the left, gaze over towards the left side. And then I want you to gaze over towards the right side. Keep your knees where they are. Take your gaze back over towards the left. Lift the chin and gaze back over towards the right. I want you to hold gazing over towards the right side. Inhale, lift the knees, feet are now onto the mat, and then I want you to exhale and draw your knees over towards the right here. So you're going to allow them to hold for just a moment. Notice any sensations you might be feeling here. And then again, I want you to lift the head up, the chin up, and gaze past that left side. And then again, I want you to lift the chin up and then gaze over towards the right side. Lift up and look over towards the left. And just allow yourself to hold here for just a moment. Again, just noticing, breathing. Inhale, gaze comes back up and knees come back up. Go ahead, lift the feet off the mat, hug the knees, thighs in towards the belly, and then begin to rock side to side, maybe front to back. Hands can also be placed on towards the shins or even gently onto the knees if that feels good, just avoiding any sensations of pain around the knee area if you can. Rotate through your ankles, flex through your heels, and point through your toes. Nice and strong here. And then release your feet down onto the mat. Take your feet about hip width or maybe a little bit wider. Allow your knees to kind of knock out towards the right and left a little bit. And relax your toes down, feeling this nice balance of stability and groundedness throughout the mat and the bottoms of your feet. And then from there, I'd like you to inhale, reach your arms above the head so that the backs of the hands remain onto the floor, onto the mat. And then from there, I want you to take a nice big inhale. And exhale.
Another nice big inhale. On your exhale, arms release down, press into the feet and lift the glutes, the butt off the mat. Inhale, release yourself down, arms release back, tops of the hands flat. Exhale, lifting into your bridge as your arms release down by the side. Each inhale, lowering down with control and reaching the arms up and back. As you exhale, drive the feet in. Feel the engagement of the thighs, release the arms down. So just a few more times, maybe about 3. This controlled movement, this nice elongation of the arms, feeling a nice little stretch throughout the side body. But then also feeling this nice strengthening, powerful feeling throughout the legs. And it's still the beginning of class, so maybe that powerful feeling is pretty subtle, and that's all right. Go ahead and hold into your bridge whenever you're ready. Adjust your feet a little bit, find some more comfort, find a way that you can make this pose work for you. You can have your hands either onto your hips or even palms facing down, and just a slight tuck of the chin as the gaze follows up. I want you to relax into your toes, but feel this nice grounded feeling of your feet against the mat, against your surface. And then I want you to draw your knees out just a little bit. Notice any sensations or any thoughts that might arise. I want you to draw your knees back in and then lower yourself down. Cross your right leg over your left knee. Bring your left foot in just a little bit here. Inhale, reach your arms all the way back up. Tops of the hands onto the floor here. Nice big inhale. And exhale. Inhale once again. Exhale, arms down. Press into the left foot. Lift up for a one-legged bridge. Inhale, lower down. Release the arms back. Exhale, one-legged bridge. Inhale. Exhale, one-legged bridge. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Hold. Maybe the low back and the glutes are not as high as before with both feet planted, and that's okay. Breathe. Relax into the left toes. Lower the glutes, the butt, the back down. And I want you to keep your left leg where it is, but I actually want you to bring your left leg over just a little bit more. So I was trying to cross the legs in a sense. It doesn't really matter where this right leg is hanging. It doesn't have a specific direction. Just the idea that the right leg is just crossed over more so than it was before. And then from here, what I'd like for us to do is keep the arms either out by the side, or if you'd like to cactus them, you're also more than welcome to do that. And I'd like you to think about this nice engagement throughout the lower parts of the belly here. I want you to take a nice big inhale. And exhale, lift the leg. Exhale, lower down, but hover the left heel. And then inhale, lift it up. So it's a pretty small movement. Lower it down. And lift it up. 2 more times. Lower the heel down, hovering or tapping. And lifting up. 1 more time. And lifting up. Left foot down, right foot down. You can rock those hips from side to side. Knees can sway side to side. So, different-ish movements. Not that we haven't maybe seen them before, maybe in another class or by a different teacher. But definitely if someone regularly practicing with myself, these are definitely a couple moves that haven't quite been seen before. So if you're kind of new to it or you're not really sure, that's okay. My cueing might be a little mediocre, and also it's something new, so feel free to kind of come out of the pose, look around, adjust as much as you need to. I'm just feeling nice and strong here. And then whenever you're ready, I want you to cross your left ankle over onto your right knee. And just kind of notice how that feels. Your next inhale will reach your arms up and back, tops of the hands onto the mat here. Nice grounding through that right foot. Take a big inhale. And exhale. We'll take another nice inhale here. Exhale, release the arms down, press into the right foot, lift, even if it's just a tad bit. Inhale, lower down, extend the arms nice and long. Continue here, flowing with or without me. Exhale, lifts you, pressing into the right foot as the arms release down. Inhale, lowers with control as you reach the arms up and back. And feel free to eliminate the movement in the arms if you'd like to focus more on the lower body, or if you'd like to focus more on the upper body. You can always eliminate the movement for the legs. I want you to go ahead and come into that one-legged bridge whenever you're ready. Press your hands nice and firmly into the ground through the forearms. And again, maybe this isn't as high as your two-legged bridge, and that's okay. Notice how you feel. Lower down. So again, we're going to cross this leg over the other one a little bit more. So you're just going to slide almost like you're crossing your legs if you're sitting in a chair. You might even rock side to side if that feels good. And so the focus in terms of like kind of where we're drawing up and down will be through the heel. Your arms can be down by the side or even out to a T or cactus. Take a nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, tap the heel or hover it. Inhale, lift it up. With control, exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, lower it down. We're going to do one more time. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, lower it down. Nice and strong. Release the feet down. Rock side to side, whether that's feet planted or even allowing the feet to come off the mat. We're going to make our way up off of our backs here in a moment, so feel free to kind of do what feels good for you. A couple options I like to suggest. You can always roll to one side, maybe your left. You can use your right hand to kind of press down into the floor, into the mat to go ahead and come up. Or of course, if you'd like to and you're familiar with, you're more than welcome to kind of cross the ankles. And then tuck the chin in, lifting the head, and then begin to rock front to back. But allow yourself to do this a few times. And then maybe after the third or fourth, nice seated position before going onto all fours. Hands and knees. Take your hands a little bit wider, maybe even pinkies towards the long edge of your mat here. And then from there, I want you to walk your hands forward just a little bit. Go ahead and stack your shoulders, and I want you to draw your head down. Let your head and neck feel heavy. You might even sway front to back, side to side. And just notice how this feels. Tuck your toes. Walk your hands back. Sit back on towards your heels here. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Palms forward, exhale, cactus the arms out. Inhale, lift all the way up. Just stretch our feet for a little moment here, and exhale, cactus. And then one more time, inhale, lift, reach to those fingertips. Imagine a pencil in between the shoulder blades. Hold on to that pencil as you come back into your cactus arms. All right, from here, inhale, reach all the way up, gaze towards the fingers, and then bring the hands down. Untuck the toes, and start to flow through a few cat and cow movements if that feels good to you. A nice big inhale, you can allow your belly to draw down and your hips and shoulders to lift, creating that nice little arch there, that nice little U shape through the body. And a soft bend in your elbows. I want you to press into the palms of the hands and begin to round through the back, tucking the chin in towards the chest. If it feels better to keep the toes tucked, feel free. Inhale once again, come back into what we call our cow pose here. And then as you exhale, allowing yourself to flow into your cat. Any other movements that feel good, swaying from side to side, feel free. Sometimes it's even nice to take the fingers pointing towards the opposite directions and then beginning your cat and cow movement there. You can continue to kind of move the fingers in a different direction and continue this movement. The next way might be fingers pointing towards the knees. And again, you might notice that less movement occurs in the arms, or less movement occurs in a certain particular area of the body, the back, the shoulders. And then once you finish out with your nice cat and cow, I want you to go ahead, nice and strong here. Allow your toes to be tucked. Inhale, float your knees off the mat, and exhale, then draw them down. Inhale, lift the knees, and exhale, draw them down. Inhale, lift the knees and hold. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Take your feet a little wide here. You can even take your arms a little wide. Just kind of find that nice open down dog here. Sway your hips, nod your head yes, or shake your head no. Can you allow your neck to feel a little bit more relaxed here? Can you imagine that pencil in between the shoulder blades and that idea of keeping it kind of still? You can come up high on your toes if that feels good. Maybe even pedal your feet, bending one knee at a time. So again, just notice all the things to notice, sensations, thoughts throughout this posture. Bring your left foot in just a little bit towards the center of your mat if it's not already. And then lift your right leg all the way up for a three-legged dog. Rotate through your ankle here. I want you to step your right foot about halfway up towards the top of the mat. And then from there, I want you to step your left foot halfway. Walk your hands back, drop down for a nice deep squat, a nice malasana here. Take a moment if you'd like. You can always have something handy. So if you have a chair or a table or a couch or something and you'd like to use it for your balance, feel free. If you'd like to use a block or two, you're also more than welcome. I consider Malasana a pose that can really vary in terms of difficulty depending on who you are, and also the day that it is. So one day it might feel good, other days not so much. And so in your nice deep squat, your hands might be down, you might be swaying from side to side. You might have your hands at heart's center and kind of pressing the arms into the legs. And just kind of decide what feels good. You could cat and cow by keeping the hands on the knees and rounding through the spine. And then from here, I want you to think about allowing some nice groundedness throughout your feet. Your hands can come towards your heart, or hands can even be placed on towards the hips, towards the ribs. I want you to press into the ground as you stand up nice and tall. Extend the arms long above you, and then bring your hands towards your heart. Exhale. Step in for a nice mountain pose. Take your time, finding that nice upright position. We have been primarily on our back and then down on our hands and knees. So just getting used to this kind of idea of standing up tall, feeling the connection of our feet into our mat. From here, I want you to inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Palms together, exhale, sink down into your chair. Take your time in getting into your chair. Maybe you like to come with your big toes together or feet hip width or even a little bit wider than that. And even notice the activation throughout the thighs there. And can you drive a little bit more down through the heels and relax through your toes? Nice and strong here. Exhale, sinks you down a little bit more. Finding a nice engagement. And can you almost round through the low back just a bit to engage a little more of the core here. Inhale, reach nice and tall. Right hand comes down. Left arm reaches over towards the right. Inhale, reach up. Left hand comes down. Right hand over towards the left. Inhale, reach up. And back into your chair when you're ready. Exhale. Allow yourself to settle into your chair. Hand placement can always be on the thighs, extended, or maybe even hands to heart center. With your next exhale, sink down just a little bit more. Find some power here. Notice your inner and outer thighs. Inhale, lift tall, arms reach up above you. Right hand down, left arm over towards the right. Inhale, lift. Left hand down, right hand over towards the left. Inhale, lift. And back into your chair. Option if you choose, maybe the heels stay down. Maybe you decide to bring the heels up. They don't have to be up super high. They can be up enough that maybe no one would notice. Maybe they're up as high as you can, thinking about maybe the highest set of heels you may have and enjoy to wear. Maybe that's not you at all and your heels are still high. Whatever it is, just allow your heels to be what feels good and right for you. Inhale, drop the heels, reach tall. Right hand down, left arm reaches over towards the right. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, left hand down, right hand over towards the left. Inhale, lift. And exhale, chair. So we're going to do a little bit of a chair flow here. So from here, I want us to inhale, reach up, mountain pose. I want you to go ahead, cactus the arms. And then as you exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. You're going to turn the palms facing in towards you, bend the elbows, and sink into your chair. So I'm going to go through that a couple more times. Inhale, lift. Palms face out towards the front of your mat. And then as you stand, you come into a nice cactus position with the arms. Standing tall, inhale, reach the arms up. Palms face in towards you. As you bend the knees, bend the elbows. So you're now looking at your hands. Inhale, lift tall. Palms face forward. Pencil between the shoulder blades. Cactus those arms. Inhale, lift. Palms turn in towards you. Bend the elbows. Bend the knees. Flow this. Inhale, lift. Standing cactus arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, palms turn in, bend the elbows, sink into your chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, when you're ready. Chair pose, palms turn in, elbows bent. Hold. Elbows hug in a little bit more. Fingers reach up. Breathe. Palms together, inhale, lift. And exhale, hands towards the heart. Setting up for a nice tree posture here. I want you to go ahead and allow some weight to go over towards your left side. Nice grounding here. Tree variation of your choice. Picking anywhere for the foot to kind of rest along the leg. Maybe heel to the ankle. Maybe you got the heel gently onto the knee. Just allow a place where you're not feeling any sensation that would trigger some type of pain alert. And then knowing that your hands can stay here or even rest at your hips or even extend up if you'd like to. So maybe your arms are feeling like they need a little rest or a little relaxation from the arm movement before. And feel free to find a variation that brings forth a little less sensation. If you're looking to create a little bit more extra strength throughout the arms and throughout the shoulders, then allow yourself to keep that nice active arm, that active reach. Allow yourself to breathe and allow yourself to utilize the floor at any point in time to then allow yourself to come back into that tree. Knowing that one fallout from this posture doesn't have to mean that it's over. Of course, when you're ready, you can go ahead. I want you to rock between the right foot and the left foot and the right foot and the left foot. And then I want you to focus as you go towards the right that you're putting more weight. And then as you step to your left, less weight, more weight onto your right. One more time. Less weight onto your left. And then more weight onto your right, where you're then going to find some stability, some grounding to prepare for your tree on the other side. So maybe this tree looks pretty darn close to the other side. That's cool. Maybe it doesn't look anything like it at all. Maybe you move over to a wall. Maybe you're using whatever the prop is. Or maybe, again, you're placing your foot higher up onto the leg. Know that the pose doesn't end the moment that you put your foot down. Feel free to kind of adjust, make those changes, and then bring yourself back into your tree. Arm movement, arm choice, as you please. And then just noticing, allow yourself to breathe. Same thing as we did before, but take your time in getting there. The left foot steps down, you begin to rock from one side to the next, and just taking a moment to kind of notice how it feels, kind of even out this weight here. All right, nice and strong. Big inhale, lift up, nice, arms extend. Cactus arms while you still keep yourself standing nice and tall. Inhale, reach the arms up, turn the palms in, that chair variation. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. Inhale, press into the feet, palms flip out, cactus the arms. Inhale, lift tall, palms face in, bend the elbows, bend the knees.
Flow that a few more times. Inhale. And exhale, cactus. Inhale, lift. I don't even know the name of this. So exhale, chair with your arms out in front, palms looking at you. Inhale, lift. And cactus. Inhale, lift. And last time, come into that chair variation where you draw the elbows in closer towards one another. And then reach the fingers up. Relax your neck, might even wiggle it side to side. Hands to the heart, stand up tall. Left hand reaches down, right arm over towards the left. Option if you choose, left hand can grab a hold and reach over just a little bit more. Inhale will bring you back to center before releasing towards the other side. Of course, using the hand if you decide to reach up and over. Inhale, stand tall, and chair pose. Breathe. Any adjustments you need, maybe fuller expressions according to your practice and what that means for you. Stand tall, palms together. Exhale, left hand over, right hand over towards the left. Inhale, lift, and exhale towards the opposite side. Inhale, lift. Last time chair, promise, sink down. Take your time. Maybe you return back to that chair where you have your heels up. Maybe you did that before and you're not interested in doing it again, and that is cool too. Allow yourself to just feel and notice what's going on here. And can you even sink down just a little bit lower if that feels good? And can you draw the strength, the awareness to the strength of the lower body? Inhale, lift up, draw the heels down. One more side stretch towards each side, left maybe first. Reaching up when you're ready, and over towards the opposite side. Inhale, lift, and cactus those arms. Lift the chest, engage the glutes, press the hips slightly forward. Inhale, lift. Take your feet out, toes pointed out, and sink down with control into your nice deep squat. Nice and strong here. We're gonna do a little bit of a flow. So feel free to use your hands, or you don't have to use your hands, totally up to you. We're gonna go from a deep squat to a wide stance forward fold. I'll demonstrate with hands down first. So I really want you to still focus on driving through the heels. I want you to feel the entirety of the foot onto the mat. I'd also like you to engage the backside of your legs, so your hamstrings, and also into your glutes and your butt. So I just want you to feel not the sense of tension, but this sense of strength and engagement. So that idea when you engage the glutes, that kind of slight maybe burn you felt when you were in your chair. And then your hands can be down. I'll demonstrate that first. And I want you to actively use the strength in the legs to bring yourself up. From there, you'll point the toes out. With that same control and that same engagement, you'll bring yourself down. And then you can do that a few times. If you'd like to do it with no hands, you'll bring your hands to your heart, palms together. And then from here, you can lift up. The fingers are going to point down. Palms are still together. Exhale. Deep squat. So just a few times here. I want you to go ahead with the hands or without. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So drive through the heels. Feel the strength of the ankles, glutes. And then deep squat. Wide stance forward fold. Hold. Option to point the toes forward or release the hands down. Even ragdoll out the arms if that feels good. Try to allow this relationship between the surface and your feet to be one that's mutual, not where you feel like you're clutching or gripping your toes into the mat. Sway your hips from side to side if that feels good. And then from there, I want you to take a moment, point the toes back out, widen the stance, and sink back down into your nice deep squat. From here, plant the hands down. It will depend on where you are on your mat. I want you to start to walk your hands forward and step your feet back, coming into a nice modified or kneeling plank that it's called sometimes. Knees down, nice engagement. Knowing that at any point in time, if you'd like to, you can lift the knees up, coming into a nice full version of plank that's often called.
I'd like you to, regardless of where you are, take your knees, take your legs a little bit wider. Slight bend in the elbows. So wider stance plank here, but doesn't have to be your widest. From here, nice and strong, your left fingertips are going to tap onto the front of your right shoulder and then release down. Right fingertips to the left. Switching sides, left to the right. Right to the left. Left to the right. Breathe and right to the left. One more time each side. Back to your variation of plank. Feeling strong, slight bend in the elbows. And then when you're ready, bend into the elbows and begin to lower all the way down. Tops of the hands, hands come to the tops of the mat. Forearms are parallel with the top of the mat here. You can rest your chin or you can rest your forehead. Bend your knees, you can flex your heels or keep your heels nice and relaxed. And then just take your legs from side to side. Release your legs down, tops of the feet, nice and rounded here. And I want you to release your arms back. So you can have your forehead down onto the mat if you want to, or you can have your face a little bit lifted, almost floating off the mat. Nice and strong here. And so I want you to keep the tops of the feet onto the mat. I want you to lift your knees a little bit, engage your glutes. And then from here, I want you to start to peel the chest, lift the arms, actively reach them back. Chin is going to be into the chest a little bit, but I want your gaze to be pretty low. And then I want you to go ahead and release down. And I want you to do that 2 more times. So keeping the knees lifted, engage your glutes, press into the tops of your feet pretty gently here. And then from there, I want you to go ahead. You can lift the arms first, and then lift the chest, lift the shoulders, lift the gaze, and lower down. One more time when you're ready. Knees are lifted, engagement of the glutes, engagement of the hips. Begin to lift. Arms are active and reaching behind you. And releasing down. So the hands are going to come back to that starting position where the forearms are parallel with the top of the mat. You can rest your chin down or your forehead down, totally up to you. And we're going to focus a little bit more on the lower half of the body here. So I want you just to allow yourself to breathe. Try to find some relaxation throughout your neck as much as you can. And then from here, I want you just to lift the tops of your feet off the mat. So your shins are going to lift just because how your body is basically built or made. And then I want you to bring the tops of the feet down. So the knees are still staying down in this position and you're just bringing the tops of the feet up. And bringing them down. All right, so this time I want you to bring the tops of the feet up and then I want you to try to lift the kneecaps up. Notice that. How does that feel? And then lower down. When you're ready, you'll lift the tops of the feet, lift the knees. Notice how that feels. Now, from here, I want you to release the arms back. Head can be floating off of the mat here. And this time I want you to lift the chest and lift the feet. And I want you to lift the knees and lift the shoulders and the gaze. Reach those arms back. Nice and strong here. And then go ahead and release down. 2 more times whenever you're ready. No rush. Tops of the feet, chest, knees, shoulders and gaze. Arms reach back, active. Nice and strong. When you're ready, release down. 1 more time, take it as you'd like. If you have any other postures that you feel are available from this place, feel free. When you're ready, tops of the feet, lift the chest, knees, lift the shoulders, active arms behind you, engaged inner thighs, squeezing of the glutes, breathe. Hands down underneath the shoulders, tucking of the toes, press up into a plank and into your child's pose. Option to always stay onto the forearms, allow the knees to go wide. Option to bring the knees in close, maybe extend the arms long. Allow yourself to breathe here. Allow those inhales and those exhales if you'd like to grab water. We have not done any close to a variation of a vinyasa, so if you're really itching and feeling to kind of flow through, get a chaturanga, or even go through like a sun A or a sun B, I want you to feel free to do so. Today we definitely focused on things, just nothing really traditional, I guess is really the way to say it. So it's been aside from breath. So just allow yourself to use these next 5 to 8 breaths to kind of cultivate
maybe an expectation you thought your practice was going to be, or something that you've kind of been excited about. It's always amazing to go into a class and just learn and take in all that you've done and enjoy as much as you really want and like. But there's also this other side of this practice where, you know, you get on your mat and you have the choice to kind of be you and do what feels good for you. And sometimes that doesn't always match what the teacher does. And in this space, just know that as long as you're breathing, I'm good. I'm good with whatever you're doing. As long as you're not causing harm to yourself, I just want you to be able to breathe. So feel free, kind of round up or finish out any little movement you might be doing, maybe even taking a little bit more time if that's what you need. Eventually what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find ourselves seated, the nice butterfly type shape here for the lower body. And your heels don't have to be hugged in super close to your upper body, and you can push them away if that feels a little bit better. Totally up to you. And from here, I want you to place your hands onto the outsides of your thighs, and I just want you to kind of, actually, let's change that. Bring your heels all the way in. You're gonna use your arms as props for this actually, so I'm gonna face the camera because that'll be a little bit easier. So you have your legs like this, and you might end up moving your legs a little bit. So right arm is kind of gonna like cup, and you might even be here. Your hands might be ideally the prop that you have. If you'd like, you can also come here. Your hands might come towards your shins. I stole or borrowed this from somebody that I go to school with, and I freaking love it. So from here, you have your knees in, you have your arms out, and then I want you to press your knees into your arms, but not so much that your arms start like flailing all over the place and you don't have control of your legs anymore. Now, think about your butt here, think about your back, and I want you to drive down and lift through the chest. So feel that sit bone, lift, and then think about your low back. Can you almost round in a little bit like cat way to increase the engagement of the core, and then allow the knees to kind of press into the hands. And just notice how this feels. Remembering that your hands, your arms here are a prop, so there's probably sensation, a little tension there. But how does this feel in your low back? Belly against the thighs. And then whenever you're ready, I want you to release your hands. Maybe you push your feet out, your heels away from you. Maybe you don't. And then maybe you release using the hands, or the arms, elbows, maybe pressing gently on the inner thighs. Draw the chest forward. Another option here is you could release the arms from the legs, thumbs. Just allow a nice, like almost massage-like feeling on the toes or on the feet. So I always like to think like this doesn't feel good as my masseuse, but it is a second best, I guess, if I don't have my masseuse available, which I don't. So yeah, and it's a nice way of showing a little bit of self-love. For me, it was a little hard to get past, like, oh, I'm rubbing my own feet, how can this feel good? But ultimately, it does. It feels nice, especially if you're feeling a little sore. You might even notice some parts of your feet that were sore that maybe you might not have had you not actually placed your hands on there. So just notice how that feels. You can even almost peel your bottoms of your feet away from one another like a book. That might feel good. And then from here, we're gonna make our way onto our back. So take your time. There's no rush in getting there. Grab any water or last minute little things you wanna do. And we're just gonna kind of roll back and forth, knees bent, feet can be flat or feet can be lifted. Bring your feet down if they're not already. Take your feet out a little bit wide, so knees are going out, and then I want you to draw your knees over towards the right. So if you need to shift your legs a little bit, shift your feet, feel free. And notice how this feels. Maybe even place your hands on towards the hips, or your arms can be out to the side. Maybe you even gaze over towards the left side. Can you breathe into both the left and right rib cage equally, feeling maybe similar types of movement? And then, of course, when you're ready, you can take your time, draw your knees up, and then take yourself over towards the opposite side. If you happen to gaze in the opposite direction for the last posture, maybe just inviting that same thing on the other side, but knowing that it's not a requirement at all. Of course, hands can always be placed onto the hips if that feels better, and then just focusing on the idea of breathing into both their right and left rib cage equally, and noticing what happens there.
back to center. You can always rock side to side one last time, or even keep your feet flat if that feels good. And then allow your feet to come down. Legs can be longer, knees can be bent, totally up to you. Bring your arms out to a T. Palms facing up. Inhale, left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And then reach the left hand over towards the right. Try to reach that right arm. Maybe you're touching the elbow. Maybe you're touching your bicep or your tricep. Maybe you're even touching into your forearm or even your wrist. Inhale, lift the arm up and bring it down. Switch to the other side. Right arm all the way up. Reach the right hand over towards the left arm, anywhere along the arm that you can kind of get it. Inhale, lift it up, and exhale, bring it down. Left arm, inhale up, exhale, stretch. Try to keep your left shoulder down as much as you can. Ideally, it's going to lift, but just the idea of drawing the shoulder down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Right hand, all the way up, all the way over, all the way up, and all the way down. One more time, each side. Left hand up, left hand over, left hand up. Release the left hand down. Right arm up, and then over towards the left. Inhale up, and right hand down. From here, your final relaxation, your Shavasana. Any last little movements that you may need, big or small, allow yourself to work your way through them. Allow your posture for this final little time to be one that really allows you to feel comfortable physically. If you have some type of couch or chair or bed, you're more than welcome to swing your legs up on towards that surface, allowing your calves to rest. And you could always do something like that with your arms out long. You could also imagine that my legs are on a wall. So there'd be a wall behind me, heels resting, and that also might feel good. Again, legs can release down along, or you can even be on your belly. Speaking of belly, as you get into this place that feels good, I want you just to breathe into the belly and breathe out. And what I mean by this is allowing as much movement as you breathe into this area. Can you relax your glutes a little more and soften your knees? Noticing any feelings of stability or any feelings of grounded throughout the body. Can you release any tension from the fingers, starting from the thumbs and all the way towards your pinkies? Maybe even allowing the fingers to roll in just a little. Eyes can be open or eyes can be closed. And just continuing to breathe. Inhale and exhale. As we go into a full moon tonight, maybe even envisioning this round, bright light coming from the belly as you breathe. Allowing this light to represent all the things of which you desire and need. Bright light of love, forgiveness, understanding, and even relaxation. Continue here, shining that bright light each breath, finishing out these last few moments of our final relaxation. Three more long, deep, slow breaths in and out. Two more. Take a moment, either focusing on the breath or really anything else, and just allow yourself to be. Maybe you rest the hands onto the belly or the chest. Enjoying this moment, being in this moment. Adding any movement in the near future, awakening a few more of the senses, maybe even blinking the eyes open to allow sight. Acknowledging any sounds you may hear coming from within the body, within the room, or even outside. Acknowledge any thoughts that may be entering or exiting in these moments, and just allow kind of all of these things bring you back to now, life. This idea of exiting from final relaxation, saying our goodbyes, and then on to the next step. Feel free to draw the knees into the chest or even just to roll on towards the side. Any way or any movements that you need prior to bringing yourself into a more upright position, seated maybe on your heels or maybe even cross-legged, easy seated pose. Any movements that you need by maybe even drawing the neck, nice stretch here with the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then of course knowing that you can do the same thing on the other side. Eventually we'll meet with hands to heart center, thumbs pressing into the chest. And as always, I just want to thank for your continued support. I truly, truly value each and every one of you, and I am super thankful to be allowed to share in your practice. All feedback, comments, and concerns can always be voiced. The light in me honors and sees the light within each one of you. Namaste. Hope you guys have a great week.